I risked it all and I'm failing. Hello, and welcome back to the Becoming Her Diaries, where I share my journey of becoming my highest self with the hopes of inspiring you to do the same. If you've never seen my face before, hi, I'm Katrina, based in LA from the DC area, and I quit my six-figure job last year so that I could live the life of my dreams. And it has been such a journey, and therefore I'm going to share it with you. And this week's topic is all about the things that people don't really tell you about, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And yes, there are multiples of each, and it really just depends on what your goals are and how prepared you are for the transition. And there are ways I was prepared and the ways that I wasn't as well prepared as I probably could have been, but you know what? We're here now and we're going to figure this ish out. Let's start with the good. Of course, the most obvious is that every single day is yours to create. You wake up every day with theoretically nothing to do, no external obligations, and you just try to figure it out for yourself for the day. That has its own pros and cons, but I'm listing it in the good column because it was something I really wanted for myself, was to have that flexibility, especially as someone who has a very difficult menstrual cycle. I wanted the flexibility for myself. So I'm listing it as good. Another good is that there are no external stressors. So you don't have coworkers, you don't have workplace drama, like all of that is gone, and it really frees up a lot of space in your mind and in your heart to show up for yourself each and every day. I don't know if I can hear the sirens, so we're gonna wait. Should I do ASMR? That might be kind of cool. I don't know if it's for me, but I think it could be a potential career path. Okay, it's gone. Lastly, the other good, and I think this is the best, is that there is no cap on how much you can make. You are free to kind of build the life that you desire and build the salary that you want for yourself. No matter what industry you plan on going into, there really is no cap in entrepreneurship, whether you want to build a company and sell it, whether you day trade like myself, or whether you just kind of want to do your own thing for a while and just solo travel and see if you can make money off of it. There's honestly, the world is your oyster. And that's such a refreshing thing to experience compared to a corporate where it's like no matter how much effort you put in, your salary is going to remain the same unless there's a bonus season or there's openings for a promotion. So I guess that's kind of like my last really good, is that the value you provide is truly compensated for the value that you provide. And if you can increase your value proposition, then you can increase your salary or you can increase your income in ways that you could never do and in a timeline that you can never do in corporate America. So now on to the bad. There are a few bad sides to quitting your 9 to 5. Number one being the lack of stability. So there is really no guarantee that you will make any money. There are some days that I make no money. There are some weeks that I make no money. It just depends on what's clearing my PayPal, what's coming through my business, how well I'm trading that week, my mindset. All of that varies. And so there is a greater lack of stability there. And sometimes that's a good thing, right? It depends on what you're into, but there can be days where you're doing really, really well. And then the next day you make no money. And then there are seasons like you'll see online, some people have like 50K months, and then the next month they make zero. And it just kind of fluctuates. And the bad side of that is the nervous system is not necessarily a fan of something like that. The nervous system craves stability, it craves safety. And so when you go down a path like this, and that stability is not necessarily as visual as you're used to, it can be a bit of a transition to go through that. And that's the transition that I am currently going through. And I can't say it's fun. I can't. But I also believe in myself and trust that on the other side of this period of instability, there will be a period of stability that follows up once I'm just a more established creator and more established trader. Another bad is that, I guess this isn't bad. I consider it a bad because it's not fun, is that it's never anyone else's fault. When you are an entrepreneur, it is always your fault. If something does not work out, if something's not paid on time, if an email doesn't go out, if you don't respond to a brand in time, all of that is your fault. There is literally no one else in the company to brand because you are a company of one. It is 100% your fault. And now you have to take the culpability for that. I think that's the right word I want to use. You have to take the responsibility there. And sometimes that's not easy, right? Like there are times when you're at work and you can say, oh, well, so-and-so didn't send me this, or so-and-so missed that meeting and they should have known this information. No, they're all gone. And it's just you. And you have to rely on yourself, trust yourself, and show up for yourself in a way that's very different because there is no one to lean on. There is no one to carry you. You can have mentors, you can have support staff, you can hire virtual assistants, you can hire real assistants. But at the end of the day, if you are the CEO of your company and we are the CEOs of our own life, you have to take the responsibility. And it's hard sometimes. It's hard to know that when I fail at something, I really have to look internally and be like, why did you fail? Was this avoidable? Was this a lack of skill? Or was this an internal issue that decided to show up in this way because you didn't feel comfortable with something? And those are tough conversations. I don't enjoy them, but they're good for me in the long run. So it's a bad, but I guess it's a good long term. It's a good lesson in the long term, whatever. The other bad is mindset. I have learned so much, and I mentioned this a little bit in my previous video, is that the mindset that is required to leave your job and to be on your own is very different. And it came with my therapy appointment as well that when you leave college, you're led into this job and then they give you very specific tasking. And I also worked on a lot of agile programs where my requirements for work were broken down not just by quarter, not based on what my boss told me to do, but I actually had a Jira board with sprints on it telling me like these are the 5 things you need to do this week and these are the highest priority things. And let's say we have a morning scrum meeting, and if for those who know, scrum meetings are just like a morning huddle. And if we go through that morning huddle and I mention that I'm going to work on A, B, and C today, and my boss prioritizes different things, I never have to take the mental load on to decide what I'm going to do. I literally am looking for approval. Like I'm going to say, I'm going to do task A through C out of A through E. And they either say yes or they say no, move up D, move down B, or vice versa. And that's it. And then you execute. There's a lot of execution and not a lot of critical thinking that's always required when you're an employee. Versus now that I am the employer and the employee, I have to set the long, short, and immediate vision for myself. And then I am also responsible for executing on that vision. And usually at work, it's rare that you are both. You are usually either the visionary or the executor, like you're either manager or an individual contributor. And now I am all of the things, and I have to wear all these different hats and use my right side of my brain and my left side of my brain, put myself out there, and all these different skills that are coming together. And I know that I have all of the skills, but pulling them all together in the right way, in the right time, and being confident when I'm taking these steps that feel enormous can be difficult. It's very challenging, which is why I would say it's a bad because you have to maintain that mindset. And I'm currently figuring out how to make that mindset more consistent. There are days when I'm very confident that I got this. And then there are days where I'm like, I risked it all and I'm failing and I'm failing. And I'm not actually failing. It's a process, right? I don't think you fail until the entire game is over and then you can lose. You can't lose until the end of the game. You could be losing, but you don't lose the game until the end. So just don't stop playing and just keep going. And that's my motto for this entire journey is to just keep going. And that way, if I'm losing, but you can come back up. So just stay in the game. Last is the uglies. And I call them the uglies versus the bad because they are something I have no control over and that they are just a part of doing business that I don't necessarily enjoy, that I have to do. Like it's just a matter of necessity. Those are 3 things. That would be taxes, insurance, and there was one more. What was the one? Taxes, insurance, and social security. So these break down a little bit more. Taxes, your business tax, your personal tax, tax on my investments, any of those things. Also, trading tax is a little different. I'm still debating if I want to be qualified as a day trader or not. I think I might. For tax purposes. I might end up doing that. But then also, I have my business income, and that is pass through income. So that gets taxed at a different rate based on my business. And then I have to go through all these things. I also am not a W 2 under my business. I don't have an S Corp, I have an LLC, which means I have to pay into Social Security through my business on top of like just paying myself and like paying my bills on time. And then for insurance, you still need health insurance, you still need car insurance, right? Like all these things come together. I'm pretty fortunate to have Cobra and figuring out that situation. It's expensive, but at least it's like what I'm already used to. And then, of course, like my car insurance. If you're using your car for your business, I don't I kind of do. I'm still debating. We'll see how that goes. But a lot of people are using it for their business. So you need different car insurance on your car when you're using it for a business versus just personal use, right? So there's all these little like nitpicky, really the paperwork side of this, which I consider the uglies just because if you mess them up, there are such severe consequences versus if I miss an email from a brand, okay, I miss a business opportunity. That's it. If I miss like taxes, there's jail, right? And there's like collections and all this other stuff. And it's just a little more strenuous. And so I consider those the uglies also because they're not really talked about as a business expense. Like Social Security is a big business expense. Once you switch to a S corp, you can do your health insurance through that. That is a very large expense for a company, which is why benefits didn't used to be given out from every job, right? Like that's something really somewhat recent in society to have insurance, guaranteed dental, vision all through your job. And I can see why now on the other side of having a business is the expense of those things. So like it's this weird kind of space. I'm understanding a lot more now. Those are the things that I didn't know that I kind of expected, but you don't expect the emotion of it. So I think that's how kind of how I wrap this up is that the good, the bad, and the uglies all bring out different emotions from you. They bring out all these traumas and triggers that you haven't thought about in such a long time. And so now you have to work through those on top of actually having the responsibilities and executing on those responsibilities and showing up consistently for yourself. That has been the biggest part for me to navigate is the emotional regulation, the nervous system regulation. I've been using my Aura Ring a lot. This is not sponsored, but it does make a huge difference in how I execute every single day. If I see that I have had very high stress levels for a while, I will chill out and push tasks to the next day. I'll take a break or I'll move my workouts around because I now have this flexibility. My goal is to use the flexibility for my health and wellness in the long term. And so my Aura Ring really helps me do that. My Apple Watch as well, but I would say more so my Aura Ring because it gives me just like more vital signs, signs of strain and stress and anxiety. I can pick up on those and be like, what was I doing today? This task made me anxious. How could I limit that in the future? How could I change this task around so that it's not as anxiety inducing? So I'm not like literally looking at my ring like, you are stressed, getting these notifications. Sounds like you're under, strain right now. Yes, I know I'm under strain. So what can I do about it? I don't want to be under strain forever, but it is a part of the process. Stress, ebb and flow. So we are figuring it out day by day, month by month. And I'm excited to give you guys an update again once we make a little more progress and we're figuring this all out, trying to be a little more consistent, a lot more consistent on YouTube. So I plan to see you guys soon, but let me know if you have any questions in the comments. If you made it this far, if you are also on an entrepreneurial journey, let me know. I would love to support you in any way that I can. And I hope to talk to you guys soon. Bye.